The 30th of August, Rabbi Levitt, Horeb.
Okay, so we finished this last section of witness and judgment, section 394. And so with that, that's what Rav Hirsch ends off with. The judge has to carry out faithfully his high calling to be a guardian of the law and of truth and of peace and among humanity, to uphold and further the blessed state of peace as Hashem created it. Whoever might be called to such high duties in life must not omit to learn all this from the Shulchan Aruch, Choshen Mishpat, in order to fulfill it. Okay. That is the bottom line. So a round of applause for witness and judgment. Hey. Okay, so now we go to 55. Isser Klala. Oh, interesting. Not allowed to give a klala. Okay, we go to Roy to start off the reading.
Well, we have a few verses here. Thou shalt not curse the deaf. It's in Leviticus. Thou shalt not, and so on, curse the ruler of thy people in Exodus, and also in Exodus, and he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. So,
okay, yeah.
Paragraph 395 starts, when spite comes up against the limits of its power and cannot in actual fact destroy the object of its hatred, then the will to do so is expressed in words, and the destruction in which it wished to accomplish but cannot achieve is directed in words towards the object, and the power of the Almighty is invoked as its accomplice, as the instrument of its vengeance. Such a pronouncement of destruction is cursing. In the accomplishment of a wicked deed, man seems terrible, but even more terrible, monstrous, does he appear when he curses, for in the former, the limit of his power is determined, but here, his spite can express itself without bounds, so far as imagination, which is limitless, and hatred can reach. Here can malice show how frightful it could be if it were all-powerful and held man's fate in his hands. Therefore, every curse against those absent as well as those present is terrible, is even worse when you call upon the Almighty to help your impotence, and the most monstrous when you curse, when you utter the wish to destroy those to whom you owe your existence, those who represent society, those through whom you are what you are, your father and mother, your judge, your rulers, and your king. Do not curse.
Okay. Very good. Interesting what the first thing that he starts off saying. He says cursing is basically a result of a feeling of impotence and the limits of his power, because he can't in actual act destroy the thing that he has this hatred for, to do action for whatever reason. So the curse is what he does instead of that. Instead of destroy what he wants to destroy in action, he destroys what he wants to destroy by saying words. So it's all as a result of a feeling of powerlessness and impotence. Very interesting.
I notice here that the chapter numbers are stopped, and we've got here additional notes. It's on the top line, heading there, got additional notes. We've got Mishpatim, chapter 55, with and sort of there's different things. I don't know how. Yeah.
Okay, so we can, if you want, we could just we could go through it, or we could go to the next section, section 4, Hukim. Any ideas? Any thoughts?
I think maybe we should go through the additional notes. Might help some places where we were found some difficulty. And then we've got section 4, and the table of contents. It starts on page, the index is
okay.
page 275. In section, 396. Yeah. And on page 279, we have
Hello.
paragraph 396, which follows on from the cursing that I just read, which was 395. Anyway, so whatever you like, but I think we should do the
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? Well, Alan's there. I don't know.
Yeah, this one actually looks interesting because here he's addressing the issue of what is this Mensch Yisrael? Rav Hirsch talks about. He tries to say a few things about this. This, of course, is not Rav Hirsch speaking. It's the translator of Diane Grunfeld. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, welcome, Alan.
Good morning.
Glad to see you today.
Thank you. Glad to see you too.
Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we're going to start from page 269. And from where he says it is extremely difficult. So, Alan, would you like to start off this section? Oh, Alan has a red mic.
I do?
Oh, now you took it off. Fine.
Okay. All right. So, page 269?
Yeah.
Okay.
269.
Torah. It is extremely difficult to give an adequate English rendering of the expression. It's obvious.
Oh.
You're on the you're muted again, Alan. Where's he going?
Don't know. Okay.
I'm shutting the door.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm. Okay, Ellen, you're muted. Now you're okay.
All right. Torah, chapter 1, paragraph 4. Sorry about the noise. It is extremely difficult to give an adequate English rendering of the expression mensch which was coined by Samson Raphael Hirsch and is used by him as a key term throughout his writings. Some American Jewish writers have tried to render the Hirschian term Mensch Yisrael by the English expression Israel man, which seems to me an inadequate. For lack of a better rendering, the term Mensch Yisrael has been translated throughout this work as man and Israelite. The term was meant by Hirsch to express his own view of religious humanism and of Israel's role in the world as a light to the nations. Hold on a second. Bobby? What? Can you quiet the kids a little bit? All right. Extreme difficult given an accurate rendering of the expression Mensch Yisrael, Homo Israelis, was coined by Samson Raphael Hirsch and is used by him as a key term throughout his writings. Some American Jewish writers have tried to render the Hirschian term Mensch Yisrael by the English expression Israel man, which seems to me an inadequate. For lack of a better rendering, the term Mensch Yisrael has been translated throughout this work as man and Israelite. The term was meant by Hirsch to express his own view of religious humanism and of Israel's role in the world as light to the nations and as witness to God and the spiritual values of life. Israel proclaims his will and is an instrument for the education of humanity. Hirsch deliberately did not say Yisrael Mensch, but Mensch Yisrael. He put the human element first. For Judaism, according to Hirsch, means humanism elevated to a higher plane by the ennobling influence of the Torah. This idea runs like a golden thread through his works and is woven into the whole structure of his spiritual edifice. His interpretation of Jewish laws is also governed by his conception to his Jewish symbolism. A characteristic example of Hirsch's explanation is the law of Tzitzis in his commentary on the Pentateuch, and in his work, A Basic Outline of Jewish Symbolism, collected writing. The law of the Torah commands the children of Israel to make fringes upon four corners garments and put upon the fringe of each corner a cord of blue to Kalis. Hirsch explains this law as follows. White, the color of the majority of the threads, is a symbol of pure humanity. The pure thread symbolizes the ennobling influence of Judaism. We find in the tabernacle that blue is the color of the mantle of the high priest and of the cover of the ark. Blue represents the color of the sky and symbolizes the heavenly gift of the Torah. As Talmud puts it, blue resembles the sea, and the sea resembles the sky. And the sky resembles the divine throne of glory. For it is said, and they saw the God of Israel, and and there was under his feet the like of a paved work of the sapphire stone, and the like of the very heaven of clearness. There was therefore no color which is suitable, is as Techel is to remind Israel of their Father in heaven. Yet when it comes to the making of tzitzis, the Talmud prescribes kashu sachel belaven house museum belay. And one starts with the winding round of the white thread, continues with the with the blue, and finishes with the white again. This legal the dictum, Samson Raphael Hirsch gives the following explanation, which is characteristic of his conception of religious humanism and of the term Mensch Israel. If we meditate on the blue thread of the tzitzis, we find that the blue thread was wound around the white ones. This is the color of blue, which symbolizes sanctity, and color of white, which represents the pure human element. It is therefore the Jewish task is symbolized the sanctuary lift up the human element in a man on the plane of the divine law, but the Jewish task and the Jewish consciousness are not something which should be separated from the human task and from human consciousness. The Jewish task must not be conceived as something alien to and divorced from the human task. Never must we think that the Jewish element in us could exist without the human element, or vice versa. The Jewish element is, as presupposes the human element, is built on it, enables it, and brings it to perfection. The Jew cannot fulfill his calling in isolation, but only with human society. The highest perfection of the Jew is nothing but the highest perfection of his task as a human being. So it is when we begin the windings of a tzitzis with a white-colored thread representing pure humanity, continue with a blue thread representing Judaism, and finish off by returning to the white thread. Pure Judaism always returns to pure humanism. I think that this exposition of Hirsch's thoughts on humanism and Judaism is the best aid to the understanding of this term. Mensch Israel, which occurs throughout the Horeb, and which was rendered as man and Israelite. Also, humanism by the mental Hirsch, a son of Central Raphael Hirsch.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's humanism and there's Judaism. I'm not sure what he means to refer to when he says humanism. I thought everything was contained in the Torah. But okay.
It may be humanism refers to the concepts we have in the Torah, but not ascribed to the Torah. It's ascribed to man. That man has thought up the way to behave. I'm not sure.
Well, then you're saying that there's something that man made up which is necessary, which the Torah doesn't contain.
No, the Torah contains it, it's not the Torah isn't given credit for it.
Ah,
I'm not sure. I might be completely wrong. I haven't got a dictionary here.
yeah. I mean, I think you are correct because it's not a term that we see in the Torah.
Hmm.
It's a term that comes from some other source. Okay.
I don't know. Lou, have you got a dictionary there to define humanism? Because it probably comes up a lot.
Humanism in the dictionary is not necessarily what Rabbi Hirsch is talking about, though.
What does it say?
I can tell you from my general knowledge that humanism is basically a philosophy that says that rather than Hashem, human beings should be in charge of what happens in the world. We should use standards of human beings for defining morality, for example. It's anti-Torah. As far as I understand what humanism is.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was a humanist.
Mm-hmm. Still your friend?
Okay.
Pardon?
Still your friend?
No, this was years ago. He actually passed away.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Say there. So, we have any more time? Oh, yeah, we have more time. Okay. So, should we go? That was interesting. Let's take a look at the
These notes.
and what is even more interesting. Sorry, what?
These notes refer to well, the next one here is B, note B, Toros, chapter 1, paragraph 5. If you go back and look up that section earlier on, this note then refers to chapter 1, paragraph 5 under Taurus. That's what these additional notes are.
Chapter 1, paragraph 4.
Paragraph.
Well, the one that we just read at.
Yeah, that was that one. And now chapter 5 is as an additional note. And then C, that's B, then C, Adus is chapter 23 in this volume, and paragraph 170 has the notes on page 271. 172.
Okay. All right.
If you want to continue with those, fine. Otherwise, go on with Fukim.
Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Lou, you want to read the next one?
Okay. The work of Moriah, mentioned by Hirsch in a footnote of chapter 1 of Horeb, was originally planned as the first part of the Horeb and was intended to contain the religious philosophy of Judaism, its general religious and ethical truths, whereas Horeb was supposed to deal with Jewish laws and observances and their underlying ideas. Indeed, the title page of the first edition of Horeb contains the heading Moriah and Horeb. Hirschauer published the Horeb first because it seemed to him more important to stress the practical aspects of Judaism. Mitzvos masios, especially in view of the laxity with regard to Jewish observances which prevailed in his days. See Hirsch's works, blah, 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 all these German titles. And his 19 letters on Judaism, letter 19. The planned work, Moriah, however, never saw the light of day. The reason for this is unknown.
Okay. Very well. Okay, so let's go to the next notes. Who's next? Roy.
So note to the chapter Eidos, chapter 23, and refers to paragraph 170.
Been a lot more helpful if they would have just told us what page number. Eidos, chapter 23. Okay, let's see.
It's on page 88. Well, that's that chart, 88, 89, 90. If we add to the other festivals the Sabbath as a consecration of life, and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to examination of life, the following pattern emerges.
Okay.
And then it says, after the end of the year, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, move to the center and thus become a bearer for Sukkot and Shemini Atzeres, as a Shabbos is for Pesach and Shavuos. And then it says, Pesach and Shavuos arise from the Shabbos, for Israel was created for the Shabbos, which mankind had spurned. Sukkot and Shemini Atzeres really arise from Yom Kippur, for God grants physical and spiritual survival according to the degree of fulfillment of Yom Kippur. Sukkot completing the Kaparas, the atonement, and Shemini Atzeres, the Tahara, the purity. And there, the footnote says, see additional notes, page 273. Which is what we've got here. But all right. But first of all, we've got 271. Pesach and Shavuos arise from the Shabbos. All right, I just read something like that. For Israel was created for the Shabbos, which mankind had spurned. This statement of Shimshon Raphael Hirsch needs some further elucidation. In Jewish religious literature, a distinction is drawn between the so-called universal Shabbos, Shabbos Bereshis, and the Jewish Sabbath. The universal Shabbos was originally given to the whole of mankind. It was meant as a manifestation of the sovereignty of God and the recognition by man of God as the creator of the universe. This recognition by man of the overlordship of God was all the more necessary as man had been given permission by God to replenish the earth and to subdue it. You can see that in Genesis 1:28. At the end of the creation story, the Shabbos was introduced as the crown of creation, and it was blessed with the words, Vayivorech Hashem es yom hashavi vayikadesh also ki bo Shabbos mikol malachto asher bro Elohim Hashem Elohim. And God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. It's in Genesis. The translation of the Hebrew words Asher bara Elohim Elokim la'asos, into which God had created and made, is that of the so-called revised version of the famous English Bible translation. It misses, however, the deeper meaning of the Hebrew words in the original. The American Jewish Bible translation renders the Hebrew words just quoted thus, because that in it he rested from all his work which God in creating had made. This rendering too misses the real meaning of the Hebrew text. As pointed out long ago by Ibn Ezra and Abarbanel, the Hebrew word la'asos in this context means to continue acting. And so before that, these other translations say has created. So this continues acting. The physical world had been finished after 6 days. Ethically, however, the world is still unfinished. And in that respect, the work of creation continues with the help of man, who acts in that connection as a partner of God in creation, until the conflict between good and evil is resolved. This is the deeper meaning of the word la'asos, as well as of the statement of Bereshis Rabbah, chapter 11. What's that? Malasos. Rabbi Levitt, you have to read it, please.
Mimaleches olamo shovas. So Hashem rested from his malacha, which was his work of creating the world. Mimaleches sadikim urishoim lo shavas. Oh, but he did not Memaleches Sadikim Roshoim Lo Shavas. But from the malacha of the tzaddikim, the work that the tzaddikim do and the Rishoim do, Lo Shavas. He did not rest from that. What does that mean?
Right. So here it's got God rested from the creation of his physical world, but not from the conflicting activities of the righteous and of the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
The physical world was completed only as the basis and the instrument for the moral completion of man.
Mm-hmm.
On the basis of this midrashic saying that Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, in his commentary on Genesis, translates and explains the Hebrew verse quoted above, which is of fundamental importance for the Jewish view of God, man, and the universe and history.
Mm-hmm.
Would someone else like to continue, please?
Okay, very good. We have time to continue? Yes. Okay, Alan, would you like to continue the institution of Shabbos? The last 5 lines on page 271.
And you're muted again. You're still muted, Alan. Alan? Alan, you're muted. That's better.
The kids make a lot of noise, so wait, have someone else read right now.
Okay, very good. Fair enough. Lou, you want to continue?
Okay, the institution of Shabbos was given to man as a constant reminder of Hashem and therefore as a help in his moral development. But early mankind spurned the Shabbos and forgot its function. Consequently, it also forgot its creator, declining more and more until it finally reached the low points of the 2 generations known as Dror Hamabul, Dor Hamabul, the generation of the flood. The generation of the flood. Oh, sorry. And Dor Haflaga, the generation of the Tower of Babel, or of the diversity of languages. Both generations rebelled against Hashem and therefore lost the dignity of man. It was then that Abraham entered the stage of the history of man as the father of the Jewish people, to whom the Shabbos was given a second time on Mount Sinai. According to some explanations, even before Mara, after they had been ennobled and matured by their suffering in Egypt. Until then, the Shabbos had disappeared from the earth and had been banished from human life for the duration of 2,000 years. The Jewish Shabbos, which was given to the people of Israel, was stricter than the original universal Shabbos had been given to mankind, but which had failed in its educational task. The sons of Noah, Bnei Noah, had only been asked to remember the Shabbos as an institution, and through it to remember God as the creator and master of the world. When that world historic task of the Shabbos was finally handed over to Israel, remembrance, Zachor, was joined by the commandment to guard, Shamor, the Shabbos by refraining from 39 malachos.
The kids making too much noise. Can't hear anything.
Can you mute, please?
Well, I'll mute them.
This is the meaning of the statement of the Pesikha. Zachor nasan laomos ha'olam shamor nasan li'Yisrael.
Wow.
So let's see if I can translate. Zachor is remember the giving to the nations of the world, and guard the giving to Israel. correct?
Well, in other words, right? We know that we have two commandments when it comes to Shabbos. Two main commandments. We have Zachar es Yom Shabbos Lekadsho, and we have Shamor. So what the Rav Hirsch is bringing over here, I was wondering where does he get it from? He's saying that there was some type of a mitzvah of sorts that was given to the nations of the world of Zachor es Yom Shabbos, and only later when Klal Yisrael was given the full Shabbos of 39 malachos. But he says he says there's a source for this in the Psikta. Psikta is one of the midrashim. Psikta, the Rav Kahana. It's one of the midrashim that we have, and it says over there that this concept of Zachor is remembering the Shabbos. Nasan, it was given as a mitzvah to the Umos HaOlam, to the nations of the world. And Shamor Nasan li Yisrael, but the full Shabbos of Shamor was given to Nasan, means it was given to Yisrael as a commandment. This is quite striking, because we know that today, after Klal Yisrael has been given the mitzvah of Shabbos, the Gemara in Sanhedrin says that a goy who tries to observe the Jewish Shabbos by refraining from malacha is chayiv misa. He's not allowed to do that. But according to this, what Rav Hirsch is saying is that he does have some connection to the Shabbos. He's not supposed to refrain from doing malacha, but he's supposed to remember the Shabbos, like Rav Hirsch says. To remember that, what does that mean? To remember that Hashem is the creator, and He's created the world, and He's the master of the world. He's very careful over here to refrain from using the word mitzvah, though. Okay.
Right.
Very interesting. I'd like to take a look at that psikta. I never saw it. I never heard anything about it. Okay. Very good. Fascinating. 11:33. So we'll say a good Erev Shabbos to everyone. Shkoyach.
Everybody, thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
All the best, everybody. Have a great Shabbos, Alan and Roy and Lou.
Thank you. You too. I'll probably see you next on Monday. On Monday. Well, I don't think I'll see you on Sunday.
Oh, Monday, I have a bris. I don't think I'm going to be able to make the shirim. I'll see when I can get back. It's all the way in Talpiot.
Oh.
Somebody he's I think it's, I don't know after how many years. It's been I think close to 10 years. It's their first child.
Wow, Mazel tov, Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
And Baruch Hashem.
I have a doctor's appointment at 12:40.